Welcome to World's End Tarot. Today we're doing pick a card reading for the question, how best can I love myself right now? You have a choice of group 1, 2 and 3, and I will put the timestamps in the description box below. Feel free to pause this video and take a moment to choose the deck which is most appealing to you at this time. And I will see you there. Hello group 1, this is your reading. So I asked the cards what energy is ruling my soul right now and pulled the Messenger card from the Next World tarot deck. I've read this one recently before this came up for some of you if you've seen my earlier videos. This is number 5 in the Next World tarot deck, which is traditionally the Hierophant, and here it comes up as the Messenger with strong Earth, Taurus, Venus energies. With this particular card, the energy that is ruling your soul right now is someone that is in a position of authority, authenticity, truth-telling. It's as if you are representative of other people who can't speak on their own behalf, and you feel a tremendous sense of responsibility with that role that you're taking up in your life right now. I think that this can also tell us a little bit in terms of self-love, the messages of self-love, that maybe some of you, if you're coming through with this energy right now, are feeling quite tired from the work that you're doing. You know that the work that you're doing is important, that it is aligned with your true values, and that it's important in the world and for very moral and ethical reasons. It feels like very good, wholesome work. But with that sense of responsibility also comes an exhaustion that can creep in, particularly if one isn't centering your own needs and you're too busy prioritizing other people. Sometimes we can forget that we ourselves need to replenish and take stock of our own energies. And I feel like this is a little indication of what our self-love spread is going to reveal today with this energy ruling your soul right now. The next card in the spread, I asked, am I doing what my soul needs to be at its best? And we came up with the Illumination card from Prisma Visions, which is an unusual card that doesn't obviously appear in it doesn't appear in any other decks. It's a unique card to the Prisma Visions deck from the 3rd edition. And for me, it's a major arcana, so it is important. It's, are you doing what your soul needs to be at its best? I think this is an invitation alongside the Messenger card. I would say no, you're not. I don't think that you have been focusing enough energy on your own needs, on your own self-love. I think that this is an invitation from the universe to remind you that it's important to take time for yourself to assess what needs are not being fulfilled, what things need to happen for you to feel like you have energies again to continue the work that you find so satisfying and so meaningful. You know, it's we can't fill other people's glasses if our own glass is half empty. This is kind of, I feel that this Illumination card indicates to me that your soul needs some time to reflect and heal as well. Even if you're in a comfortable position of authority and power, even though that work is obviously replenishing your soul, it's easy to become burnt out in this kind of role. And I think this is what the universe is telling us to be mindful of at this time. The next card I asked as I pulled, what life lessons do I need to cherish? And we have the Nine of Swords coming up here. I think this is a wonderful message for the message that we need to cherish. This Nine of Swords energy here comes through for me with such a powerful voice. It says to me, move. You have to move. You cannot sit and stand and gaze into the belly of the beast. If you stare into the void will stare back. This is a really useful message for us, particularly those of us who find ourselves easily find ourselves in a rut, which I think if you're a workaholic, which I think some of you will be if this messenger card's coming up along with this illumination, if you have tendencies of workaholic, tendencies, Nine of Swords is telling us, it's reminding us that the lesson of remaining passive in our lives when something doesn't feel right, when we feel overwhelmed, it's not the right way to go around a problem. It's not the right way to go around self-love. Self-love doesn't happen without us doing anything about it. It's a process. It is a practice. It is something that you need to do regularly to get better at it. And it is a different thing from indulging or wallowing or remaining passive or lazy. It's an active choice every single day where we choose to prioritize some part of our day to our own mental health and our own physical health. And it's about choosing things mindfully that are good for us. And I feel like this is a particularly good life lesson to keep ourselves reminded of when we're asking tarot, how is the best way that I can love myself right now? Tarot's saying, well, it's not going to be passive. The best way to love yourself is to do something about it. I think that's gorgeous. Okay, and then I went into my new Oracle deck. This is Denise Lynn, Sacred Destiny Oracle. I recently bought this and I have been getting to know the decks, the pictures, and I don't know, I just really like this deck. So this is the first time I've actually drawn cards for a reading with it, and it's really cool to be using this deck. So the question I asked when I pulled these cards was, how can I be the best version of myself? And patience came up here. This is actually a message of remaining still. It's similar to the Hanged Man energy, actually, except there's more emphasis on just waiting. And I want to I think it's cut off slightly with the way I'm filming, just so you can see the word patience coming up here. It's nice, actually. I really like the fact we've got such a lot of winged energy here. I feel like that's to do with thoughts in our own heads, this is coming, yeah. Patience. I feel like quite a lot of you are in your own heads right now. I think that's what's coming across. How do I love myself? What do I do? How do I stop myself worrying? How can I get more out of my own head? Okay, good. Yeah, patience here. This is a curious card in terms of what has a hanging man energy happening, but it's also indication that we can't see everything quite clearly yet. So this idea that you can see everything clearly and everything is actually being challenged with this card here. And I think, if anything, it kind of tells us even more about this illusion, this illumination card. You need to be careful that you're not practicing self-love from a place of illusion. You need to be sure that as you wait, not only are you not being passive, but it's also a choice to wait until things are more clear. Having patience for yourself is extraordinarily important when it comes to self-love. I think quite often we can be way too hard on ourselves and say, well, why aren't you getting it right? Well, why haven't you achieved this yet? Well, look around you. Everybody else is doing better than you are. This is the kind of message that comes up here. It's a self-love action to be patient with yourself and to let yourself go through a process that might take time without immediate results. It's encouragement from the universe to tell you that yes, you are on the right journey and it will take time, and that's okay, and you must be patient with yourself. You know, most things that come to us that are hard are not easy. They, you know, a lot of the things that are worth having take a lot of work and a lot of time, a lot of investment of our energies and our time. And so I feel like with this particular card, it's like, look, you're not lazy because things aren't moving ahead quickly. You do need this time and this patience with yourself to develop as a person or an artist. That might be some of it actually. As an artist, or within your career, or within the relationships that you're building, good quality connections in this planet, on this planet, they take time, and be patient. So this is the best way you can, just for a reminder that when I pulled this patience card, I was asking how can I be the best version of myself, just so you know. And then again, another card from Denise Lynn's Sacred Destiny Oracle. I asked, how can I practice self-love? And this was really encouraging. We got the abundance card for you guys. Abundance. How can I best practice self-love? I mean, this has such strong Queen of Pentacles energy. I can't even tell you. It's interesting that we have Earth, Venus, Taurus energy with the Messenger card here, and then this abundance energy, because for me this is like very Taurian, this energy. It is a request that the best way for you to practice self-love is to look around you and see what resources you have and use them wisely and use them graciously and use them with, yes, gratitude, and also, I'm trying to reach for that word, generosity. Those are the messages. Like, it's patience with yourself and generosity with yourself and others. If you have anything that is worthy of giving to other people without any sort of expectation of it being returned, universe is saying, yes, this is a good thing. Like, giving when you don't receive or expect to receive anything back is one of the most wonderful ways that we can love ourselves. When we have a self-worth, that we understand that our contribution to other people's lives is where we can find our true power. It is an act of self-love to feel useful and to feel generous and to share that joy that we have with other people. And sometimes if you're feeling really like, if you're in a scarcity mindset, it can make us feel worse. Like, this card isn't something that says that you have to be very wealthy or like lots of excess to share. It's more just excess of your time or your energy. Like, there are ways that we can be abundant and spread abundance in the world without necessarily it being about tangible, actual things. This can be an abundance of like time to listen to friends, or like laughter, to share a meal together, to make a meal together. It's investment in yourself and others. And that is one of the best ways that you can practice self-love at this moment in time. So, group 1, that was your reading. If you enjoyed that, please subscribe to my channel. I will be updating lots of videos regularly. I hope that this resonated with you today. If this was the message that you needed to hear, I'm glad I could deliver it to you. Okay, bye. Hello, group 2. This is your spread for the question, how best can I love myself right now? I asked the cards, what energy is ruling your soul right now? And the card that came from the Next World Tarot was the Moon, which is strong water Cancer. moon energy. It's funny because, I mean, before I think I would probably I could talk about this individually, but just want to say before I begin going through the cards that there's a lot of movement in your cards. There's a lot of turbulent energy. It's positive, but it's quite like, I don't know, it feels quite, I don't know, like, yeah, it's kind of exciting to see this because it feels like there's so much. It's like you've had this, oh gosh, I'm trying to think how to word this. It's almost as if you're coming out of a stage of stillness and into a fury of movement and creativity and emotion and feeling, and that's just coming up in the cards a lot for me. So what energy? It's interesting because this is like the energy that you're coming through as the moon is the stillest card in the pack that we have, the spread that we have here for you. It's a gorgeous sense of sitting with oneself and feeling the universe happening around you, connecting in with your inner sense of the universe that we all have within our own souls, and observing yourself within the actual planet that we live on. Somebody who's really in touch with their inner emotions and potentially with the emotions of others around them. Someone who feels like an intuitive soul. And a little sense of solitude here. I wouldn't go as far to say loneliness, but certainly solitude. Solitude with one's thoughts, there's a dreamlike sense coming through with this card today. Just that calm energy. And then this juxtaposition that I'm getting with these other cards of the movement happening in them is so interesting. So here with the Knight of Wands, I was asking as I pulled this card, am I doing what my soul needs to be at its best? You know, is group 2 doing what they need to be at their best? And I think that the cards are saying, yeah, I mean, they're certainly going in the right direction. The Knight of Wands energy has this such, like, in this particular, just the way it is, like, it's a feeling of divine inspiration and, like, connection into one's creativity. And just that turbulent excitement that you get when you think of a new idea and this new project, and you just can't help but, like, express it and make it. There's a revolution of sorts, like it's as if it's coming up all around you. It's not even just something that's like happening within you, it's like around you. It's just this wanting to get this stuff out into the world, wanting to communicate these things, which is so interesting. If this is how you're turning up and this is what's going on in your head, I think you must be onto some really interesting plans. Like there must be something happening here for many of you. For many of you it's going to be a creative project of some kind. It's going to be something that you've been working on and thinking about for a really long time, and now there's this push into doing it. And I think the cards in terms of the self-love question are saying that yes, this is a really good way to love yourself, is to create things, to make things, to feel that as if you're throwing a stone into a lake and the ripples are coming back to you. It's like you can see the influence that you're having around you, and there's something so empowering and affirming about that's coming through here with the Knight of Wands. It's a really youthful energy, a really excitable energy. It feels quite like, I don't know, like it's not like teenage, but like if you're not teenage, it's not a thing. It's like, I mean, this could be applying to anybody of any age. It's just like, do you remember that time when you were younger and it just feels like the world is so big and that you are so ready to enter it? This is what this is coming up with. It's exciting. And so I've been saying, like, yeah, like, am I doing what my soul needs to be at its best? Yeah, you're definitely doing things that are nourishing your soul for sure. Yeah, that's happening. Then again, here, the next card I pulled, I ask, what life lessons do I need to cherish? Queen of Cups comes up. That is, I mean, between this and the moon, this is someone who, and this is if you're resonating with this, that you're someone who uses their emotions to, you're not frightened of feeling big emotions. You're not frightened of talking and thinking through your emotional breakthroughs, which is such a strength. So many of us are frightened of feeling things that are overwhelming or uncomfortable or unfamiliar. So many of us bottle things up, and I think, if anything, actually bottle things up, that's an interesting turn of phrase, because I feel like here we have the Queen of Cups and she's kind of like covering a glass, like she's covering it like this, as if she's able to contain the information that is like the emotional information that's flooding through her, and yet she has this beautiful wisdom that she is able to contain her cup of water, her cup of emotion, so it's tangibly understandable for other people and for herself. I feel like this is a life lesson that you are absolutely entitled to cherish. This self-knowledge, the self-containment, the beautiful balance that you have of being both connected with your emotions and yet also able to sustain them in a healthy way and express them in a healthy way, and likewise able to hear and hold time and space to hear other people when they're also in an emotional state, that you're not intimidated by it, but you're also not overly affected by it either. You're not like receiving things that you don't need to receive, but you're also giving that person that healthy, safe boundary space to express themselves and to communicate with you also. Which doesn't surprise me if you're coming up as moon energy, because that's something about being intuitive, is that you're also able to hold space for other people's emotions and see that as, you know, you don't absorb it like that would, you quite often if you're absorbing other people's energies and emotions, it can be quite unhealthy. I feel like this Queen of Cups energy is somebody who's learned to do that. Maybe you were in a place in the past where you felt like you were absorbing too much from other people, and now you've moved into a place where actually you're able to hear people, to support them, and to still remain completely within your own power and not be affected in a weird, crazy place that many of us can get to if like there's a lot of chaos happening around us. So it's nice seeing this Knight of Wands energy and also this Healing Chaos energy, because it tells me that there is actually a lot of movement around you, and arguably some people might interpret that as chaos, but I feel like you're in your power here. The lesson that you're cherishing, your life lesson of self-love here, about how to process emotions in a healthy way, is really such a good tool for you right now. So when I was pulling these oracle cards, this is from Denise Lynn's Sacred Destiny Oracle, which is a brand new pack for me. I've never actually read with them before and I'm really enjoying them. I asked the question, how can I be the best version of myself? And Healing Chaos here comes up. I think I'll show you this because it's just really pretty. Can you see that there's little butterflies through this tornado? When I first pulled that card, when I was introduced to this deck, it was my favorite card. It has Tower from the tarot energy, like for me, that just this, but I mean, it's not completely the Tower, but it has this feeling of like destruction happening through it. And the added bonus of this healing energy, like these ideas, these butterflies of transformation coming through this tornado. Do you see how like it's linking in with your Knight of Wands energy and also your Queen of Cups energy? Because I do. So how can you be the best version of yourself? Healing chaos. You are embracing the chaos. The chaos is something that is required. It is part of the process for you. It is something that you maybe in the past would have been intimidated by, but now because you are so self-contained and able to feel how you feel without being overwhelmed, to be encouraged by what you need to be encouraged and inspired by, you are able to maneuver a storm and see the opportunity that the storm brings you, the cleansing aspect of a storm, the opportunity to rebuild after it's gone. Sometimes things need to leave our lives because they just are of no use to us anymore, and that includes energy patterns. This here for the healing chaos is what I'm reading here. Best version of yourself is embracing this. Just embracing this moment in time where things just feel, you have to accept you're not in control, and there's some power within that going, I'm not in control of this, so why should I make myself feel, like, why should I wind myself up with that? Like, I'm not in control. Like, that's a good thing. I'm glad I'm not in control. This is a mess. Like, it's going to happen either way. It doesn't matter how I feel about this. This is an act of nature. It's something that is so big, it's beyond me. And I have the tools in my back pocket about how I can approach this and how I can rebuild afterwards. And actually, if anything, it's inspiring me. There are things happening within this chaos that are making me think of other things, and I am getting a lot of energy from this. That's what I'm reading. And then the last card here, I asked, how can I practice self-love? And I got adventures. Do you see? And I don't know about you, but the whole way through this reading, I was thinking, this is such an adventurous spirit. This is somebody who's ready for adventures. This is somebody who has been planning adventures and has been really planning adventures in a deep way. How can I practice self-love? Yes, say yes to adventures. You're ready for them. You're well equipped to deal with adventures. You're well equipped to be in the place to experiment and to rebuild and to cope with all the things, all the turbulent chaos that can come from a proper good adventure. In whatever ways adventures means for you, because the thing is for me it's coming up with this idea of taking a holiday to a place I've never been before, but it could be that you take I often think about writers, to be honest, like you could choose to start a new story that you hadn't planned or something, like you just don't want to, you're not going to plot before you start writing, you're just going to allow yourself to have that creative adventure in your own space, or you're going to take a project in a new direction that you had never even considered before, but it just feels right. There's something about this invitation to have a much more tapped into your adventurous spirit, your Knight of Wands adventurous spirit. And so yes, this was your reading for how best can you practice self-love right now for group 2. I hope that was resonating with who it needed to resonate with. And if you enjoyed this reading or any of my other readings, please subscribe to my channel. I am going to be updating regularly. It was good to have you here. Okay, bye. Hi group 3, this is your spread for the question, how best can I love myself right now? So I asked the cards, what energy is group 3? What energy is ruling their soul right now? And you came up with the Hermit, Earth, Virgo, Mercury energy. Before I get into this, normally the Hermit wouldn't really worry me, but there's another card on here, which is the Devil. So the energy of the Hermit ruling your soul right now is indication to me that you have been spending an awful lot of time on your own. I don't know if for some of you this is simply a time of solitude and that has been a healing time for the majority of time. But the thing is, for many of you, it's now become a stagnant energy where you're not getting out enough, just truly. And it's becoming, instead of solitude and healing, it's becoming a stagnant, unhealthy, lonely phase of your life. And the reason I'm saying that, because normally I wouldn't, because I'm quite a big fan of the Hermit, to be honest with you, the reason I'm saying that is because of the card that I pulled up next, which I was asking, am I doing what my soul needs to be at its best? And I got a resounding no with this card coming up here. There's indulgence happening here with this Hermit and Devil card combined. It's somebody who, I think at first it was like, maybe there's been a time where you've been hurt and you needed to go away into yourself and into your safe spaces and replenish yourself, take some time to heal. And sometimes when we're healing, it's not as important that we've had, you know, an extra slice of cake, or that we haven't gone on a walk that day, that we haven't gone outside, that we haven't spoken to somebody. Sometimes that can be okay. Sometimes it's okay to just take a duvet day and roll into our bed and, you know, binge Netflix or something. Like, that's fine. Every once in a while, everybody needs to do that. What this is telling me here is that you have been doing this way too much, and it has become a habit in a way that is harming you now. I'm so clearly getting this sense that it's time to move on. So clearly getting a sense that it's time for you to try a different tactic. I'm really glad that you've, if this is resonating with you right now, I'm really glad that you've clicked on my reading. And if you're still watching, then I know that whatever we're about to discover together is for you. So the next card I picked was, what life lessons do I need to cherish? And I got the Ace of Swords. Again, normally there's other things that come to mind first, but right now with this reading, I feel this is like an invitation from the universe to be brave. This sword energy, it's like, it's almost as if it's like someone going, take my hand, grab this sword and pull it out of the ground and fight for yourself here. There's like, this person who's been in their head and been indulging, and maybe indulging in all kinds of ways. Like, I mean, the Devil card can sometimes be really fun, that's the thing. It's like, it's just almost as if whatever it is, it's just like too much of a good thing can be quite harmful. And this Ace of Swords coming up here, and what's the lesson that you need to cherish, is you're stronger than you think. You have these tools that are at your disposal that you're maybe not utilizing at the moment. Ace of Swords also, like the sword stuff, that's like quite a lot of the time is about intellect, about thoughts. But it can, for me, can also be about sharpness of tongue. Maybe it's a truth that you know deep down truthfully that you've not been loving yourself in the way you should be. It's almost as if it's saying, you need to listen to that little voice in your head that's telling you, stop, this is enough, you don't need that, that's not good for you, I don't want to be living like this right now, like this isn't good, I want to try something new. And it's also a reminder of how strong you actually are, how this is actually a choice that you can make for yourself, that you can choose to cut through the bullshit. Oof. I don't know if that's, I don't normally swear, I'm sorry if that's offensive, sorry. It's just, it feels like there's this hacking kind of, like, this, like pick up this sword and then like cut yourself out of this forest that you've managed to sort of unwillingly walk into. That's what I'm getting. So in terms of like what life lessons do I need to cherish? You need this, you have strength that you are aware of that you're not utilizing. And it's always there. It's always there. You have the ability to get yourself into a place that's healthier. You have the ability to choose things that are ultimately healthier and happier for you. This is an invitation from the universe to remind yourself of that. And I really think that's encouraging considering these two other cards coming up here right now. So And also, this is another thing that's quite special and unusual about your particular deck, was the other two readings only got 2 cards from the Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Lynn. You got 3. So that's pretty cool. Like, I don't know, like I was like, okay, cool. At first I was like, oh, should I really shuffle again? And then I was like, no, these are, you have an extra card for a reason, and I guess I understand why. You need a little bit more encouragement from the universe right now, and that's fine. It's good that you've clicked on how best to love yourself right now, because, I mean, it's a perfect reading for you right now is, yes, how do you get yourself out of this sticky situation you've managed to get yourself into? Okay, so when I was pulling these cards, I asked, how can I be the best version of myself? And I received for you openness. It's not a card of action so much. It is a card of allowing yourself to receive messages that you really need to receive, to be open and non-judgmental of yourself and of others, but mostly of yourself, I would say right now. I feel like quite a lot of you watching this are going to be having quite a tough time, and I don't want you to feel like this is something that you can't take some time to gather yourself, gather your strengths before you step into trying something new to resolve this for yourself. Openness is about not being closed off to things that might feel silly or random. It's about being less judgmental of yourself in the moment as well, being open to the fact that things can sometimes be tough. And also being open enough to receive those messages that you need to receive. I mean, it's funny, like, I don't know if it's something that you can relate to, but for example, sometimes if I'm feeling a little sad or something and I see a butterfly in the garden, I feel like I've been reminded that, I don't know, that there's just joy naturally found around me, and I only just need to check it. Sometimes you can choose to see things which are just going to reinforce your mindset, and other times you can choose to see things which challenge a negative mindset you may have got yourself into. I feel like openness is an invitation and a reminder to maybe start doing that more often. And then these 2 cards came up for the same question. I said, how best can I love myself? How can I practice self-love? Yeah, I guess how best can I love myself right now, which is the main reading. But particularly, how can I best practice it? Like, what kind of things can I do? Like actually do to practice self-love? We got purification and we got thriving. So with purification, I mean, I love this. This makes me really happy to look at. It reminds me of the sun energy from the tarot. So there's water replenishing the roots of this beautiful sunflower. And there's water energy in this one too, even though it's found in the Sahara because of this type of tree. I think this thriving card is a perfect card for this energy here that we're getting and challenging it together. The reason being is this tells me what this Ace of Swords was telling me even further. It says, oh yeah, no, you definitely have the abilities to get yourself through a sticky situation. Definitely. You're really strong in a way that it's like you can adapt to difficult circumstances. You are able to take something which most people would find extraordinarily hard and make lemonade with it, you know? You're able to take that lemon and make lemonade. You're able to grow in a desert and produce fruit, which is what this tree behind this giraffe is able to do. It provides to other people around it as well. This is underneath, you know, how can I practice self-love? It's adaptation, I think, here with thriving. So open to the fact that things are difficult. Knowledge in the way that you're able to actually get through it. Admitting that you've been in patterns that have not been serving you and have not been making you feel loved in yourself. And adapting the circumstances that you find yourself in so that they work much better for you. And then here with purification, it's partly a card of actually looking around you and realizing there's stagnant energy that's been happening. It's a little bit about the cycle of growth. I feel like some of you may have just, I don't know if you're familiar with the idea of the cycle of creativity, but sometimes we can think when we're in a, like we can think we're in a rut when we're actually not. We're in a place of fruit. Like there's a moment before fruition where it's very quiet and things aren't working and we don't know why, but truly it's to do with an energy cycle. And it's just like the Wheel of Fortune, where it's like the low part just before it starts getting up to this place where things work again. Purification is talking a bit about that, but in the way of going, right now there are things in your energy that are not serving you, and it's time for you to purify yourself of those old energies. I mean, if anything, it can be done tangibly in terms of like in the material world, like maybe, humidifying your bedroom, or detoxing, and enjoying like Epsom salt baths or face masks, or and I can barely speak. One thing particularly coming to mind, which is like looking through like old possessions and like sorting out the things that are giving you joy and are useful, and things that are ready to be received by other people. This is a little bit about this. It's about purifying the space that you're working in, making the place where you're living work better for you, investing in things that make you a little happier, whether maybe it might be a new soft cushion or something like this. Like there's a little bit of it's just that's what's coming through. It's just, if it's not working, it's time to say goodbye to it, and it's time to think about what things are going to help you get out of this place where you feel like instead of solitude, it's become loneliness, and it's become, instead of self-love, it's started to come into self-indulgence. Purifying that and being honest about what you're putting into your body, how much sleep you're getting. These kinds of things are coming up. And along with openness here as well, feeling more open to receiving messages that you need to receive, and thriving energy, having that self-knowledge that really truly you are very capable of adaptation to your circumstances. So if anything, this is actually a really hopeful and strong energy of change that you are able to put out into the world and improve yourself and love yourself in the way that you need and deserve to be loved. So thank you so much, Group 3, for joining me today. If you enjoyed this reading and would like to see more, please subscribe, and I will be regularly uploading more readings for you all. Okay, bye.